Welcome back to Munro Live. We are actually here today with a viewer's vehicle. Andrew was nice enough to bring up his brand new 2024 Chevrolet pickup truck so that we could do some sort of a review of this vehicle compared to some of the other trucks that we have been able to tear down in the past. We have not been able to get too many Chevrolets in the EV world to actually review, so this is a wonderful opportunity for us, and we want to thank him a lot for sharing this with us. Now, looking over this truck, it is a truck. Looks very, very similar to the truck. However, you'll notice the back. Similar to the Avalanche, which was kind of like I guess you could say a crossover truck, it's not an independent cab and bed, it's more integrated. When we lift this up on the hoist, others will be able to talk about what is going on underneath in the frame area that was necessary. It is a black vehicle, so hopefully it shows up well on camera. Some people's styling, that's great. For a review, I don't like it as much. But it is a very clean looking vehicle. Now, this was over $90,000. So whenever I do a review, I always try to keep price point in mind. What are you getting for your money? Where is the value? The premium that you may be paying, where is that premium going? Is it all in the battery? Is it all in the capability of the vehicle? Is it in the creature comforts? Since I normally deal with interiors, I'm always looking at the creature comforts. I'm looking with how good do I feel in this vehicle? Do I want to be in this vehicle for 3 hours a day? Do I feel like I'm in luxury for $90,000 or not? So we're gonna get into that in a little bit. Let's take a look at the front. So this has become somewhat of an expectation with an electric vehicle. The amount of additional storage that you would have compared to an ICE vehicle. Now, we know that the F-150 that we tore down, the F-150 Platinum, had a very large front storage space. When we compare that actually to what we saw on the Tesla Cybertruck, the Cybertruck was actually lacking in this area. And of course, that may be due to the overall shape of the vehicle, the unique design of the Cybertruck. Here, we have, honestly, a little better than halfway between the Cybertruck and the F-150. It does have an increased area. This is perfect side-by-side luggage going to the airport or on traveling. I don't really have anything negative to say about what we see here. Normally for the things that I review on the channel, I would not have to look at the bed. But because of a unique design of the rear seat, I have to make mention of it and talk about some of these features. Okay, a fat guy like me who's getting old, I do appreciate having some sort of a step, some sort of an aid into the bed of a vehicle. Looking at the actual structure, it does seem capable, it does seem heavy duty. But the question becomes, is it excessive? Is it overweight? I have removed some of these, what I'll call trick tailgates, and they just weigh a ton. I'm not sure of the overall weight with this tailgate, but that's one thing that I would question. Now, the actual weight of the tailgate, the owner doesn't really care. They want to know about the function. Is it actually providing me a benefit? They're most likely not taking that off. But coming from an engineering background and coming from developing a vehicle background, that weight would be important to me. Now, it is all black, which makes it a little difficult for you to see on camera some of the different breakups. But I want to talk about the material breakups and what we're actually seeing. We can go ahead and start with the door. Our top roll has a vinyl wrap. Look at the distortion of the lines in the vinyl going around the edge. The way you see that distortion is actually an indicator that this is an actual real wrapped material and most likely not a thermoformed material that was applied. We have a soft insert on the door armrest. This actually has padding and cushion. The upper, this is very, very hard and very, very rubbery. Going below that, we are now to injection molding, just plastic injection molding through the rest of the door. So we have two different types of a soft material. Now, how does that compare to the rear door? It's often that we would see a rear seating position having a reduced trim level than the front. And that is exactly what we have here. We have hard plastic injection molding all through the top. We do have a soft touch area for the door insert. All right, looking at some of the other vehicles that we have kind of picked on for the plastic on plastic, this type of a construction, you're getting all the way back to the Chevy Bolt and some of the other low-cost EVs in the $35,000 to $40,000 range. So we are seeing a reduction in the trim between the front seating position and the rear seating position. So what other features are compensating for the increased cost? I have to say it is a truck, and I am comfortable in a seating position that a truck provides. So sitting in this vehicle, what I'm feeling, the seat is a little stiff, but it's not bad. It's quite comfortable. The seating materials, you see a perforation on the insert here and on the back insert. When you see that perforation, you often think, all right, this must mean that it is a not only heated, but also a cooled seat. And this seat does have cooling in it. Vinyl on the outside. Look at the two-tone stitching. Now, there is nothing in a design that would allow or prevent having two-tone stitching. It's just a styling choice. Now, it's a styling choice that you would have to pick for your vehicle and know that it's something that you're going to have with your vehicle for your lifetime. So hope that the styling doesn't change. This is a black vehicle, so a black vehicle with red and blue. It's just a decision. How long are you going to own your vehicle for? How long do you think that the color and the design matters over, is it only 2 years? Is it 5? Or is it until this is no longer able to be on the road? That design carries over into the instrument panel. We see some red accents in the air vents and then the red and black stitching on the mid panel in the instrument panel. Now the materials of the instrument panel carry over some from the doors. This is a wrapped material, but it is not a soft touch. It's not a soft touch really in any position. It's all hard. Now we've had this discussion in the past in the interiors world. Where do we need something to be cushy and soft? On the door, it makes sense because I'm touching the door every day. On my armrest, it makes sense. I am touching my armrest every day. When am I touching the top of the instrument panel? When I'm cleaning it. So truly, it does not matter if I have a big, cushy, pillowy instrument panel. So I don't mind not having this padding there, but I would like some padding on the upper parts of the door. Now, another way that you can tell that this is a real material, look at the end of the instrument panel. You see that little tiny patch that is sewn in? That's because when you wrap a material over a tight corner like that, you cannot actually stretch the material to create that shape. If this was a flat stock material, you have to sew in some sort of a relief patch. We can see and tell from that sewn in relief patch that this is not a thermoformed IP cover stock. That is actually a cut and sew that is then wrapped. If we look up around the raised HUD, and you can see the line that is created from the forward plastic component and then this shingling over top of this wrapped component, that line is somewhat inconsistent. Being the driver of the vehicle, I am staring directly into a gap. If I'm an interiors person like me, I would see that gap and that gap would bother me. A normal customer, however, would probably never notice it. It would probably never be an issue, but it is something that I do want to point out. We have talked in the past about our dislike in the style of high gloss piano black paint and the amount of chrome. Now, to be completely honest, I'm perfectly fine with chrome. I'm perfectly fine with accents. I just want it to be purposeful. I don't need it to be overly done. I would not want this entire component to be one big shiny chrome piece. However, my controls for my air vents, I don't mind those being chrome. The tips of my buttons, I don't mind those being chrome. A bezel across the top of my cup holder, it's not too bad. So these are very minimized accents. So I don't have a problem with them per se, but I do still dislike the amount of piano black that we see on the center console and then up onto the driver display. Again, $90,000 vehicle, and truth be told, more than $90,000 vehicle. If I'm trying to compare to something that we've also torn down at that price, it would be the Platinum F-150. Now the Platinum F-150 had trick seats. It had adjustable shoulders. There were speakers in the headrest. Those types of features are not provided in this vehicle for that price point. So we have to look at where the money actually is. Let's take a look at the rear seats. Not only is this a seating position, but this is also considered a storage position in many customers' cars. You would have a fold-up seat giving you a big open floor area so that you can put big items or some sort of a bin underneath the seat. And if you look at most normal Chevys, you will see that this seat cushion just lifts up, stands up, providing you that nice pass-through. This does not do that. This moves in the other direction. All right, I do have some small storage bins, but this looks a little awkward. I don't know how I would use this space. Well, again, you're not actually using this space as is. Sorry, I forgot. I have to fold the headrest down. You would think that by pulling the cable, this would somehow be linked so that it would happen automatically, since the headrests have to go down for the seat to fold. And I have seen some vehicles that do that. This one does not. It's a completely independent mechanism. So I have to manually fold the headrest down in order to fold that down. So now I have a pass-through to the rear bed. This allows me to fit larger lumber. This allows me to fit some sheets of plywood and still be able to close the back tailgate. Now that is important because most trucks now have a 5.5 to a 6.5 foot bed. I like having that feature, but look what's happening here. Look at what all of these surfaces look like that are presented to me as I'm trying to store whatever I'm throwing in here. My drywall is hitting into this component. Now, it's nice that it's not going all the way into the back of the seat, but I have a pan here. It would have been nice to have these pans and these features thought of in a little different way to make this whole surface a little smoother. So you'll see the cavity up here. This latch is attaching into this cavity, just hooking out a simple rod. Well, what if this feature was actually mounted to the body and this hook was here, having a small open cavity with that little hook in it? It would have gotten rid of this monument. So let's look at the rear seat as a seating position. Now, as I've said in the past, I'm a big guy. I was just sitting in the front seat of this vehicle and it was adjusted properly to my body size. And here I am in the back seat. Now I have a good 6 inches of knee room before I hit the back of the front seat. Leg room, great. Headroom, I'm not really hitting my head on the headliner. There's a little bit there. We saw in the Tesla Cybertruck, because of that sloped back, I was actually hitting the glass roof of the Cybertruck, so it wasn't as comfortable for me. Now the seat itself, it's not so bad. It's a normal rear seat. It is not as bad as the rear seats that we saw in the Cadillac Lyriq. I hated those rear seats. This is not bad. We don't have a hard plastic back panel, which we have seen on a lot of vehicles, and we've seen them on most Teslas, but they got rid of that hard back panel on the Tesla Cybertruck. This is much more of a traditional back pocket seat cover design. So heated rear seats, that will account for some of the dollars that you're actually spending for this $90,000 vehicle. An option that you don't often see provided to a rear seat occupant. Carrying that over to other features within the car, you make the decision which feature benefits you as the customer, which one does not. Having the rear seat seated, okay, but having that hard plastic door panel, it's up to you where you feel your money is going. So again, I would like to thank Andrew for the opportunity of allowing us to view his new truck. Now, I hope that I don't pick on it too much because this is something that he has purchased for himself. But I still want to be honest with some of the things that I see. Now, when I do these reviews, I want to clarify something. It's not that I'm being negative on any one brand. It's not that I'm being negative on any one feature. What's happening is I'm trying to inform you of what are the trade-offs. There is no one right way. There is no one right answer. By doing this, it means this. And as a customer, you have to decide what trade-offs are you willing to take for what you are getting. Now, the multifunction storage capability of that bed, the tailgate, that's probably a lot of the money. The fact that it's an electric vehicle and what its range is, that's a lot of the money. It may not actually be in the creature comforts. So I don't want to sound like I'm saying that something is bad in any of the vehicles that I'm reviewing. What I want to say is, looking at the price point of $90-some thousand, are the features what you expect? So, thank you very much for watching Munro Live. If you are not subscribed, please do, and look forward to other videos on Andrew's new Chevy truck.